Friends, welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, I want to talk about the New Jersey Councilwoman who was shot dead as she was driving home to her apartments. This is her first year in office. Her and her husband just got back from a trip on serving a mission. My friends, these are the type of stories that are mind-blowing and at the same time tragic and sad. Let's go ahead and dive into what we know at this time. Eunice Dwumfour, a 30-year-old councilwoman serving her first term in Sayreville, New Jersey, was fatally shot on Wednesday night, just 2 nights ago. Officers with the Sayreville Police Department responded to reports of a shooting at 7:22 p.m. in Parlin, which is an unincorporated area of Sayreville, and found Miss Dwumfour in her car with multiple gunshot wounds. That's according to a statement by the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The shooting took place at Camelot at Lemur, a complex of 3-story apartment buildings and duplex homes that backs up against the Garden State Parkway and is within view of the John Bon Jovi rest stop. On Thursday morning, investigators were searching a wooded hill near the parkway, which is accessible by foot from the neighborhood. The Sayreville police had set up a command post on Miss Dwumfour's street, Check Avenue. Investigators were reaching into shrubbery and bushes near the shooting in what appeared to be a search for any type of weapon that they can find. Miss Dwumfour was found in a white vehicle which had rolled down the avenue's steep incline before crashing into 2 cars at the bottom of the hill. That is according to the police officers who responded, and they were at the scene. The authorities did not say whether there was a suspect in the crime and have not offered any information about a possible motive. This investigation is an ongoing investigation. Victoria Kilpatrick, the mayor of Sayreville, said in a statement that the fact that she was taken from us by a despicable criminal act makes this incident all the more horrifying. Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey said he was stunned by the act of gun violence, adding that Ms. Dwumfour had already built a reputation as a committed member of the borough council who took her responsibility with the utmost diligence and seriousness. Now, Sayreville, this is a population of about 45,000 people. It's in a Middlesex County, about 30 miles south of New York City, Manhattan part of New York City. Now, Kennedy O'Brien, a Republican who served as mayor of Sayreville for 2 decades, described Ms. Dwumfour as the embodiment of the American dream. Her roots were in Ghana, he said, but she had forged a success story that took her from Newark to suburban central New Jersey. She remained active in her church in Newark, he said, and was deeply faithful. She was a single mother. She had gotten married just after Thanksgiving of last year. Self-made, self-motivated, driven, disciplined. That's what Mr. O'Brien described her as. She just had so much to give. It's just an incredible loss. Now, one retired Sayreville police captain who recently took over as the borough's business administrator, Glenn Skarzinski, he said that the community was reeling at this current news. He said that Ms. Dwumfour's church and her preteen daughter were at the center of her life. Her daily life was all about being a Christian first, and everything else Second, Alexandra Bryan, who lives in the residential complex where the shooting occurred, said she heard something that sounded like fireworks just after 7 p.m. This is a picture of her white car. Now, Alexandra Bryan, who was describing this, she said 2 times right after one another, like 5 seconds apart. That's what she was describing as the gunfire. She thought it was fireworks. Now, on Thursday morning, just yesterday, she went outside and spotted damage to 2 cars that were parked in the lot where the shooting took place. Other residents said the car the councilwoman was in when she was shot appeared to roll and strike the parked vehicles. And you can see this scene right here where it's a downhill. This is where it said that her car rolled down here. Now, Miss Bryan said this apartment complex, it's a really nice complex. Children are able to play around without parents. It's always quiet. That's why it's such a shock to everybody. Ms. Dwumfour was elected to the Sayreville Borough Council in 2021 after she and another Republican candidate, Christian Anoa, unseated 2 Democratic incumbents on the 6-person council. She was serving a 3-year term. In a statement about her campaign on the Sayreville Republican Party's website, Ms. Dwumfour said she loved and cherished Sayreville and wanted to help improve the lives of its residents. I am fully dedicated to building a better, stronger Sayreville, and with your support, we can create a brighter future for our wonderful town. That's what Ms. Dwumfour had shared. Now, Ms. Dwumfour, who graduated from Newark Public Schools, was a business analyst and a professional scrum master, a type of project manager with background work in both Maryland and Virginia. That's according to her LinkedIn profile. In 2017, she received a bachelor's degree in women's studies from William Patterson University of New Jersey. Karen Bailey Biebert, the Sayreville Republican chair, who was Ms. Dwumfour's campaign manager, said in an interview yesterday that the councilwoman was an inspirational woman who was excited to get into politics at a young age. She overcame challenges with grit and a smile. Ms. Dwumfour took on the challenge of this leadership position at a young age, and she set a great example for others to follow. If you can see me, you can be me, Ms. Biebert had shared about Ms. Dwumfour. Rest in peace, Eunice Dwumfour. Taken away from this world way too soon. Here you can see a picture of her car after she was gunned down outside of her home, and police say she was the intended target of the shooting. You see, she was found dead in her white Nissan SUV after it crashed near her home on Point of Wood Drive in New Jersey. Now, she was also found with multiple gunshot wounds, and she was pronounced dead at the apartment. Witnesses claim that the suspected gunman was spotted racing away from the Camelot at Lemire apartment complex, and a 911 call was placed at 7:22 p.m. Authorities say that the councilwoman, who worked for a Nigerian-based church group, was the intended target, but have not given a motive in this crime scene. Her white SUV was seen removed from the scene by authorities in the early hours of the morning. She ousted the sitting Democrat of the borough of Sayreville in November of 2021 in what many believe is a shock election win, and was not up for re-election until 2024. Now, one friend described her and her family as just returned from Nigeria on a church trip. They described her as bubbly and nice. Her sister Priscilla said she was always happy, very humble, and had respect. Currently, officials Currently, there have been no arrests in this case. The Sayreville police and Middlesex County officials investigating the incident are looking for the perp. Now, friends, they did pay tribute to her as an amazing friend who loved God. Detective Juan Rodriguez and Pastor Dr. Nelia Rodriguez posted online saying, "I just saw her this morning at the store. I remember saying to her, I'll see you at the HRC meeting tomorrow, not knowing tonight was going to be the end of her life. I can't stop crying. She was 30 years young and full of life. You will be missed, my dear, precious friend." Now, this is heartbreaking, obviously. Anytime someone is tragically taken like this, you don't expect. I mean, she graduated from William Patterson University, and she served as a director of churches for the Nigerian-based Champions Royal Assembly. And of course, the whole community is in shock after she was shot right outside her home. Now, she was just a New Jersey councilwoman. She was only there for 1 year. I don't even know that she served her full year yet. And so here she was, gunned down near her home. And many people talk so highly about her because she was pronounced dead Wednesday night after being shot multiple times while driving her white Nissan near the Camelot apartment complex. Now, as I shared, her car eventually came to a stop when it crashed into 2 parked vehicles, including one witness, Lexus. So that witness would have definitely seen something. It took a second before I realized there was a dead body behind the wheel. That's what the witness told the New York Post yesterday. And the witness continues, there was 1 bullet hole in the passenger door and a bunch of bullet holes in the driver door. Some other neighbors said they saw someone running away with a mask on. Now, locals believe that the gunman may have fled via the Garden State Parkway. Around 20 Sayreville officers were seen combing the side of the GSP exit to the John Bon Jovi service area on Thursday afternoon, looking for a murder weapon, looking for any videos or anything like that that can help lead to who could have done such a thing. And so they're continuing to look for her. At this time, they don't see anything, of course. Now, she was a single mom and also a new bride. At least 24 mourners had gathered at Dwumfour's parents' Newark apartment on Thursday. Agonized screams could be heard echoing from the walls as loved ones grappled with a sudden loss. Relatives told the New York Post that the Republican councilwoman was the oldest of 5 children in a Ghana family and leaves behind her own 11-year-old daughter. One cousin, Rita Kay, said that Dwumfour was married in Africa in November of 2022. Her husband, Eze Kings, is a pastor in Nigeria. It's hard to talk about it. It's so hard. All I can tell you is Eunice was a humble woman. She's very down to earth, very collected, laid back. While Dwumfour's mother, Mary, was too upset to speak, her father, Prince, said the loss of his daughter was a big blow. Originally from Newark, Dwumfour was elected to her first council term in the borough of Sayreville in November of 2021. And so she did serve a little over 1 year. A few weeks before the victory, she told Tap into Raritan Bay that she was proud to have graduated from Newark's public schools before earning a women's study degree from William Patterson University in 2017. And so this is where it really does seem like a wonderful person was taken from this world. And one person described her Aunt Beatrice described her as, when Eunice was young, I think her dream was to be a councilwoman to help a lot of people. That's what her dream was. She didn't do it for the power. She did it for helping people. She was born here, so she was a citizen here. She wanted to give back to the country. She was a faithful role model. Her younger sister Priscilla said her late sister's desire to help the community stemmed from her Christian faith. She loved God. Every aspect of her life was God. She remembered, noting that Dwumfour previously served as a volunteer EMT and gave CPR classes. She said she always wanted to help the community no matter where she was. Even when she came back here to visit us, she would stop by and have conversations with people, invite them to her church. Come, we'll feed you. Don't worry. If you need a ride, call me. She was always like that. Dwumfour always found ways to incorporate her faith into her professional life. She was a pastor, Prince Dwumfour said of his daughter. At the time of her death, Eunice Dwumfour was also listed on LinkedIn as a business analyst and scrum master for Fire Congress Fellowship and a director of Churches for Champions Royal Assembly, North America. Now, Champions Royal Assembly is a ministry run by Nigerian pastor who has very close ties and televangelist Joshua Iginla, Joshua Iginla. Dwumfour frequently posted about Iginla, my God, that is hard to pronounce, and the ministry on social media. Please forgive me for my mispronunciation on some of these words. I tried to look this over beforehand. Now, in December of 2022, celebrating her wedding, she thanked the preacher and his wife as her spiritual parents. Looking back at her sister's legacy, Priscilla lamented that she no longer had such a strong female role model in her life. It's my only other sister. I didn't have any other sisters to look up to. I only have my brothers now. Despite Dwumfour's apparently happy personal life, she was also no stranger to public controversy. Less than a year into her first term on Sayreville's council, she was one of two Republicans who moved a resolution for a local investigation into disgraced former Democratic councilman Thomas Polando's role in a strip club bribery scheme. A few years earlier, now, could this possibly be something that led to this? Because a few years earlier, Dwumfour was also embroiled in her own legal trouble stemming from a 2017 car accident. According to a lawsuit filed in December of 2019, plaintiff Frank Fernandez Tavari alleged that Eunice Dwumfour was the owner and possible driver of a car that was driven negligently and recklessly into his own vehicle in Hillside on December 21st, 2017. In the suit, Fernandez Tavari claimed to have suffered serious, grievous, permanent, and disabling injuries. Motions in the case continued for almost 2 years before it was ultimately dismissed in August of 2021. Now, Fernandez Tavari could not be reached for comment at this time. Now, so around this whole death, there is no motive at all. Could it be something that related to that bribery scheme around the strip club? Could it be about the car accident? Could it have something to do with completely something else? As the investigation into Dwumfour's death continues, relatives and colleagues are still puzzling over the motive behind this shocking tragedy. That's why how could this possibly happen? One person shared that Eunice loved God dearly, so I don't know why the devil came and took her life just like that. Whoever did that, I know he will pay for it. Her spirit will hunt them down. We don't know what happened, Prince Dwumfour said. That's her dad and pastor. Now Eunice is no more. My prayer is, may God give her a better place to rest. One day we will meet her again. Arthur Rittenhouse, 78 years old, former chair of the Sayreville GOP and one-term councilman, told the Post he was shocked by the killing. Eunice was very well liked by anybody who spoke to her or had any dealings with her. So this was really a shocking event. Rittenhouse explained that he first met Dwumfour 5 years ago through local politics and that the two shared a special bond because they both graduated from William Patterson. He also admitted that politicians often have disagreements, but nothing that would lead to this. She had a very, very pleasant personality, and she was a woman of her faith, and she always expressed that to whomever she was speaking to. That's what was shared about her. Now, one next door neighbor, Asiya, she shared that, "I'm in shock. I couldn't believe this happened to her. She was such a kind person, such a sweet woman." As of yesterday, the police has not responded to any request for a comment. One guy was even videoing, and the guy just basically said, "No, there is no one right now to talk to you for the media to get any information." My friends, it's cases like this that I dive into because another tragic incident. I want to be a voice for these victims. This lady was clearly targeted, meaning they wanted this to happen to her. Someone targeted her. Why? Normally, situations like this, if it's targeted, it's someone who knows her, near her, close to her. We don't know. We don't know. She has ties to Ghana, Nigeria. She has ties all over, right? She has ties in the New Jersey area, New York areas. She's got ties. She's newly married. So we don't really know. This is an ongoing story. If they have a suspect in mind, they're not letting us know yet. There hasn't been a press conference. We don't know much about this situation. My friends, if this is the type of content you like to follow, please hit that subscribe button. Click on that like if you got some value out of this. That way it lets YouTube know, hey, there's value, show it to more people. And if you want to get updated when I do go live or upload content, please hit that notification bell. That way you get notified. At the end of the day, this is not about me. This is about being a voice for the victims. This is about diving into these true crime cases and seeing what happened at the time of the crime. And hopefully we get some resolution and we get an arrest soon, because this young lady, taken from this world way too soon, deserves justice. Hashtag justice for Eunice. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have an amazing, amazing day. Be careful out there. It's a crazy world we live in. We never know when our last day will be. Be careful. Have a great one. Peace.